What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we're going to be playing Jeskai Enchantments. Alrighty, so yeah, we'll just hop right in. Okay. I was going to say we'll hop right into the combat phase and then smack this motherfucker around. So that's really nice. We actually have lethal on board right now. And it's what, turn 4? So, this deck thus far, and by thus far I mean in the first 3 games that I've tested it out, has been undefeated. So we're going to see if we can continue that in our games today. I forgot what the inspiration was for this deck. Like, I forgot what card I looked at and was like, you know what, I want to build a deck around this. This seems fun. Maybe it was Valduk. I know I've built decks around him before. He is always fun, especially if you can manage to get the combo off. So yeah, we're basically going to be doing a Jeskai Enchantments today, and we'll hop right into the deck tech, as always, and then right into our games. So, kicking us off, we have 4 copies of Curious Obsession. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So, you know, we're going to be trying to throw this on Mist-Cloaked Herald, things like Champion of the Flame, things that can attack and get through, Swiftblade Vindicator. But yeah, things that can attack and get through pretty easily and deal damage. The reason I say these cards is Champion of the Flame, Swiftblade Vindicator, Mist-Cloaked Herald. Mist-Cloaked Herald can't be blocked, and these two have trample, so you know they can still manage to do combat damage to your opponent, even when being defended against. So Curious Obsession, pretty strong. Also makes Swiftblade Vindicator really strong, right, for 1 mana. Then we have 3 copies of Dive Down, because obviously once you build these creatures up so high with these auras and enchantments and equipment, you're going to want to protect them, right? So figured why not use some Dive Down since we're in the blue tree. It was either go with Dive Down or Dauntless Bodyguard. To be completely honest, I'm not quite sure which one I like better. I think they both work excellent in the deck. It's just Dauntless Bodyguard is a bit slower, right? Because you have to play him, and then you have to sacrifice him, and the other creature only gains indestructible, so it's not protected from exiles. So that is why I decided to go with Dive Down, as it blocks from almost everything except for board wipe. So it just hits more spells, if that makes sense. Like it counters more spells, even though it's not a counter. Y'all understand what I'm saying. So then we have 2 Mist-Cloaked Heralds. These are just in the deck for early. If you draw out one of these and you manage to get a Knight's Pledge on them, or yeah, Curious Obsession, then it's basically like a mono blue deck. And your Mist-Cloaked Herald is just going to be done a whole lot of damages very easily, very freely. So if you can get it buffed up, by all means, it's easy damage. Then we have 2 copies of Knight's Pledge for some easy enchantment on, you know, Champion of Flame, Swiftblade Vindicator, Valduk. These cards that really benefit from getting enchantments put on them. Then we have 3 copies of Aether Tunnel. Now this one's really interesting because enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. So you throw something like this on a Swiftblade Vindicator, which now is a 2/1 essentially with double strike. So she, not quite sure. Swiftblade's going to be dealing 4 damage unblockably every turn, every single turn, for what, 2+2, so for 4 mana you have a 4 damage attacker basically every turn for free. That's not bad. Moving down from Aether Tunnel, we have 3 Champion of the Flame, which is probably my least favorite aura and enchantment card, but it's still really good, right? Sure, it comes down as a 1/1, which is very weak, very easy to be killed, but it does have trample, and it gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. So we throw a Curious Obsession on it, which already gives it a +1/+1. Then because of its innate ability, it gets another +2/+2. So for one mana of the Curious Obsession, we're turning this creature into a 4/4 with trample, right? Now 2 mana 4/4 for trample is pretty good, considering we only had to spend 1 additional mana to get it there. So yeah, moving down, we have Swiftblade Vindicator. Honestly, always an excellent card to enchant if you can, or equip if you have anything to throw it on there. Then we have 2 copies of Rogue's Gloves. Rogue's Gloves works like a Curious Obsession that's a lot harder to get off the battlefield, right? So, same effect, whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Costs 2 to lay down and 2 to equip, unless we have Danitha out. But yeah, it's just like equipment spells and equipment cards, these artifact equipments, are really good in an enchantment deck because once your other creatures get removed, say you have a Swiftblade down and he has Curious Obsession, or she has Curious Obsession, whatever it is, and then they exile the Swiftblade, you're going to lose both the Swiftblade and the Curious Obsession, right? Playing with equipment cards makes it to where if they kill off your creature, you're still going to have the equipment to put on all your other creatures, and since all of your creatures sort of benefit from equipment, you know, you want to be having things that are constantly on the board to equip and to give your creatures that buff. So we throw this on Champion of the Flame, and sure, it gets the same +2/+2, so now it's a 3/3 with trample, but it can also draw us cards, so not bad, not bad. And I know most of the times you don't want to be playing 4 copies of a legendary, but with Danitha and Valduk, it's a little bit different, as you can pretty much guarantee yourself that these are going to get removed, and if they don't, right, say you end up with 2 copies of Valduk in hand, fine, that's fine. If they're not removing your first one and you're just getting in all that damage, great, you know? This is meant to be a very aggro and very quick deck where you throw down your creatures, and hopefully the right creatures, right, and then you get the enchantments on them and just go ham. So literally in the past 3 games, I've won every single time in the first 6 turns. So that's sort of our goal for the matches today. So yeah, Danitha, First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink, or an equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So she's just perfectly nestled into this this build. 3 mana for 2/2 with First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. Certainly not bad. Certainly not bad, and she's not a bad target to get buffed up either. We put a Knight's Pledge on her. We have a 4/4 with First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. That's one damage and a flying ability away from a Lyra, right? So a Lyra that has Vigilance, I should add. So nonetheless, we'll move down to Valduk, Keeper of the Flame. A really interesting card. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Valduk, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. So you kind of see the strength in Valduk already. And then exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. So you don't get to keep them all the way through, but you have 2 equipment, or an aura and an equipment on Valduk. You have however big he is, right? So just a simple Knight's Pledge and Curious Obsession is already going to add 3/3 to him, making him a 6/4, right? Then you're also going to get 2 more 3/1s attacking along with them, so you're dealing, what, 9, 12 damage if they don't have any blockers or any answer to it, right? So Valduk, super strong, super awesome. Then we move down to a little bit of removal, things to keep our enemy creatures out of the way. So we have 4 copies of Lawmage's Binding. So it is also an aura spell, so it still gets affected by Danitha. It can end up costing 2 mana, which is crazy. It has flash, so it can come down at instant speed. And whenever we enchant a creature, it can't attack, block, or activate its abilities. Activate its activated abilities. I'm sorry. I should mention that it's only its activated abilities. It's not all of the abilities that can't be activated, just the activated abilities, if that makes sense. So if you have well, hell, I was going to try and find an activated ability. Oh, here's one. Okay, so like this is an activated ability. Innate abilities like Hawes the Marshal won't work. Abilities that you have to pay for on the creature, or you're tapping the creature, things that you, like, you know, have to play or like do. That's an activated ability. And I've been trying to get a little bit better about actually reading the wording of the cards, because y'all know that here recently I've been making a whole lot of fuck ups, so nonetheless, we'll move down to Tajic's Legion's Edge. This is just a solid card to equip, right? Haste Mentor, so even if you have a Swiftblade down and it has a Curious Obsession down, throwing down a Tajic is still going to haste, it's still going to mentor your Swiftblade up to a 3/3, right? Which is fucking excellent. So yeah, has haste, has mentor for 3 mana, already pretty good stats, 3/2, not terrible. But then furthermore, the ability prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. So mono red, bye-bye. You know, you get a Tajic's down, and the shocks and all that are going to be coming right at Tajic instead of all your other creatures, which means, you know, all your other creatures can be attacking. Obviously, Tajic is removed very easily because he only has 2 health, so a shock will do it. And maybe going up to 3 copies of Tajic is worth it. I might be playing one too many aura or enchantment spells. I always find it's a tricky mixture with these between getting the right amount of creatures to enchant with and the right amount of enchantments, right? Because you put too many creatures, then you're only going to be drawing creatures and no enchantments. Put too many enchantments, you're only going to be drawing enchantments and no creatures. So 2 copies for now. If you want to go up or down, that's perfectly fine. Oh, furthermore, you can pay 1 red and 1 white mana, and Tajic gains first strike until end of turn. So it makes him even stronger than he already was, which for 3 mana, he's really strong. Moving down, we have 1 copy of Sigiled Sword of Valeron, and honestly, I've thought about going up to 2 copies of this and down a copy in Candlelight Vigil. Yes, it's slower, and yes, it takes more mana over the length of its time to actually get up and running. The Sigiled Sword of Valeron is so good. First off, it gives your equipped creature +2 and Vigilance, so excellent there. Furthermore, whenever the equipped creature attacks, you create a 2/2 white knight creature with Vigilance that's already attacking. So really strong boost, really big buff to your creatures. But again, even if you get it down and play it, it's going to be turn 4 by the time you get this actually up and going. And if you play it on turn 3, play it on turn 4, the chances that you have one of these, sure, you might have a Mist-Cloaked Herald or a Curious Obsession or a Dive Down to play alongside it. But if you notice, all of our 1 manas are all blue mana, so you really got to hope that you have that blue mana. So yeah, it's just kind of slow, and I'm not quite sure if I want to overdo it. It is super strong and it's super fun, but yeah, once you get 1 down on the board, then you're kind of set for the rest of the game. So anyways, moving on, we have 2 copies of Candlelight Vigil. You know, what can I say about it? It's just a solid enchantment card. 4 mana, enchant creature, makes it a +3/+2, and has Vigilance. Now, I have thought about completely removing Candlelight Vigil, and like I said, going up 1 in Sigiled Sword, and maybe 1 on Sarah's Wings, or 1 on Knight's Pledge, just because Candlelight Vigil, the Vigilance effect doesn't always benefit you, right? It doesn't benefit you on Danitha, it doesn't benefit you on the Swiftblade, which I know seems like, well, that's only 6 of your creatures, but that's kind of a heavy majority, right? That's a third of our creatures that Candlelight Vigil's Vigilance doesn't really do anything. So, but Sigiled Sword and on Sarah's and all that good stuff does, you know, it works on majority of your creatures. So moving on to our last enchantment, we have a legendary enchantment. On Sarah's Wings comes down for 4 mana. Enchanted creature is legendary, so you know we can't play any more copies of that creature after we play On Sarah's Wings on them. And it gets +1/+1 and has Flying, Vigilance, and Lifelink. So yeah, it just makes our card really strong. Obviously the +1/+1 isn't huge, but if you played on a Champion of Flame, right, you're going to actually give him +3/+3 because of his innate ability, and you're going to give him Flying, Vigilance, Lifelink, so you're going to have a 4/4 Flying, Vigilance, Lifelink trample creature, which is a mouthful, but it's turns out to be really good. And then y'all know that my lands are monstrous. So yeah, that's going to be the deck or the deck tech, and now we're going to hop right into these spicy games. Alrighty, here we are in game 1 up against Teostra. Well, sure. We can at least protect the Valduk. We can get some enchantments down on him. Why is my game going so slow? It's like very laggy right now. Yeah, I don't know if y'all can tell, but my game is like super laggy. Oh man, hopefully it buffers out. Yeah, I apologize. Not quite sure what's going on. We'll throw down a Mist-Cloaked, and then we'll keep up mana for a Dive Down or a Curious come next turn, which could help us get into some more land. Need to move Knight's Pledge over here so we can actually know what we're doing. And there's a Jungleborn, so we're up against a Merfolk deck, pretty standard Merfolk deck from the looks of it, so it's going to be difficult for us to out-aggro the Merfolk, but that's okay. Alright, kicks to my turn, and that will give us 3 mana for a Valduk, which I think getting the Valduk down and getting enchantments on him is a little bit more important than getting curious on our Mist-Cloaked. So now, come next turn, we can throw a Knight's Pledge and a Curious on the Valduk if we so choose, or we can throw an Aether Tunnel and a Curious Obsession. I kind of like that a little bit better. That's 4/5 unblockable from the Valduk, plus 2 3/3, plus 2 3/1 3/1s. I'm sorry, with trample and haste every turn. So yeah, kind of like that. And hopefully our opponent. Oh, they don't attack. Okay, so we could also just go double Curious Obsession on the Mist-Cloaked, but I kind of like Aether Tunnel plus. Yeah, let's go ahead and Curious Obsession. We're up against Merfolk, so the chances that they have removal isn't super high, and I'd rather get in the damages now while we can. So that's going to be a whole lot of damage. And they either got a chum block. No, they're just going to take it. Okay, so that's 7 damage to their face, and well, next turn we can actually deal that. So that's really nice. We actually have lethal on board right now. And it's what, turn 4? So we close this game out by turn 5 very, very realistically. Kumina. That's victory for us. Yeah, so turn 5 victory. Awesome. Game 1 can be picked up. Super easy, just with the Valduk plus Aether Tunnel and Curious Obsession. What was that? 1 swing in, they took the damage. Here goes a second swing in, and that's going to be game. And we still have enough mana for both copies of Dive Down, so yeah, no way for them to stop us, and they're just going to scoop it up. So game 1 victory up against Teostra, thanks to Valduk, Keeper of the Flame. Alrighty, and we'll hop on into a game 2. Triceratops is going to be our next opponent. Triceratops instead of Triceratops. I get it, I like it. It's funny. Or it's supposed to be. So we'll probably throw down the Guildgate first. This is a very uneasy hand, as we just have check lands and no way to check them out. Let's go ahead and get down some blue mana. Next turn we can get down Champion of the Flame. Turn after that we can get down Aether Tunnel if we want on Champion of the Flame. Or we can throw Aether Tunnel on Danitha. But seeing as how she already has... well, she does have First Strike, so that could be really good as well. If we play the island, we can play Champion of the Flame and have enough mana for a dive down, just in case they try something, which they very well could, with Fanatical Firebrand out. Then it kind of wastes our dive down effect as well, doesn't it? Let's play the island and try to play Danitha. Because she can't just get Firebrand, but if they have a shock, she will draw out their shock. But if we play Champion of the Flame, they're pretty much guaranteed to play Fanatical Firebrand. They're going to play a Zertov for 3/3. Okay, so probably no attacks then, and that's just going to be their turn. Excellent. Alright, so Clifftop does come down tapped. That is important to note. Now if we play Champion of the Flame, first thing they do is Fanatical Firebrand, right? Maybe I Lawmage is the Fanatical Firebrand, but then I can't really do anything this turn. Well, I could play Aether Tunnel on Danitha. I think Aether Tunnel needs to go on Danitha. We need 1 blue mana to keep Danitha alive. So yeah, let's just play Aether Tunnel, and then we'll kick it back to their turn. We have Lawmages to play at instant speed. We have Dive Down to play at instant speed. Danitha has Vigilance already. Now she's unblockable, plus she gives us lifelink, so yeah. And she can also block out the Zertot now. So Danitha coming in really, really strong. And we'll keep our mana, like I said, for the instant speed spells. Clan Guild Mage, okay. May want a Lawmage's binding her. Well, there's 2 of them now. I wonder what kind of deck are they going for here? If they don't do anything, I think I do just Lawmages the Firebrand, so that way we don't have to waste the dive down. Oh, they're actually just gonna scoop. So Triceratops not even gonna stick around. I guess it's a turn 4 victory. So game 2 getting picked up even quicker than game 1. Not quite sure what fell through with their plans there. Maybe they just didn't like the fact that my Danitha was unblockable plus Vigilance. Nonetheless, we'll hop on into a game 3 here. Talanx. Nonetheless, this Vivian avatar is going to be our next foe. Alright, alright. You don't have to force me. I'll keep it. It could be super strong. It could be super, super weak, too, granted, if Danitha dies. The potential is there. Okay, so this is fantastic then. We want to throw down Steam Vents tapped, and then we'll throw down Sulfur Falls. Hopefully, they won't have an answer to Danitha. And then we can keep mana open for dive down. Doomed Dissenter. Okay, so yeah, let's go Danitha, and fingers crossed that they don't have any removal. If they don't, we're set, right? Because now all of our cards cost 1 mana. We want to keep 1 mana open for dive down, but past that, we're fine. So we can throw an Aether Tunnel and a Curious Obsession on our Danitha lady. Start really getting some card draw, and a Knight's Pledge now as well. So we want to go Knight's Pledge, Aether Tunnel, Curious Obsession. Now we have a 6/5 unblockable Vigilance lifelink creature. Wonderful. Who also draws us cards, might I add. Alright, so now we'll keep up the mana for dive down. Come next turn, we can also play the Knight's Pledge on Danitha and make her even bigger. So our opponent's on a bit of a timer here. Excuse my cough. But yeah, Danitha stacked up with 4 enchantments is going to be rather scary. So the one thing I like about Jeskai Enchantments is it gives you the dive down, right? It gives you a way to keep your creatures from dying. And most of the time your opponents won't be expecting it. They might, since you're in Jeskai. They could be an open-minded individual and say, you know what, that might not work. I don't think it really matters here. They can't defend with their tokens, and I'm not going to kill their supportlings to gain them life, right? We're getting plenty of healage off of the Danitha. So, we could throw down a Valduk and Knight's Pledge, actually, on the Valduk. But I kind of like the idea of just making our Danitha a war machine, right? Although, maybe we get down Valduk, still play the Knight's Pledge on Danitha. Well, let's see, what does it make him? It makes him a 5/4. Gives me a 3/1 with trample. Yeah, you know what? Let's play Valduk, but I think I am still going to play the Knight's Pledge on Danitha. So that's guaranteed victory in 2 turns. And Valduk, we're not going to get much use out of him this turn, even with an enchantment on him. But our Danitha, oh, and we got 2 dive down. So now I feel a little bit better about equipping Valduk, knowing that I can protect both of them. Having only 1 dive down, I really didn't want to split between the 2. There's a Tendershoot, so we just win here, actually. Awesome, awesome sauce. So games 1, 2, and 3 going to be picked up in a swift and easy victory. This one's going to be a turn 6 victory. So as I said, anywhere from turn 4 to turn 6. I don't know if you count the game where another Danitha. Alrighty, so yeah, we'll just hop right in. Okay. I was gonna say we'll hop right into the combat phase and then smack this motherfucker around. So yeah, 3-0 with our unblockable, unbeatable, unbelievable Jeskai Enchantments. So hope everyone enjoyed. If y'all did, be sure to leave a like down below and a comment in the comment section if you have any suggestions for this deck, future decks, past decks. Y'all know how it goes. Or if you just want to talk, you know, whatever, talk magic and whatnot, I'm all ears. Furthermore, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It is free. It does help support the channel. We're trying to hit 1,000 before the end of April, because that'd be really awesome, right? So yeah, I think that's gonna about do it for this video. I was trying to think if I had anything special I needed to mention, but I don't believe so. So yeah, I'll either see y'all later tonight or tomorrow. I know the streams have been here and there here recently, but I am going to be getting a few more off days coming up in the future, so hopefully I can get back into the habit of streaming at least once or twice a week. So yeah, that's going to do it for this, and as always, peace.